Title: The Night My Husband Suggested Something Unbelievable. True Infidelity Story, Safe Version. It was a quiet evening in the small town of Springfield, Illinois, where I lived with my husband, Michael. Life had always been predictable, comfortable, and safe. We had been married for 12 years, and though marriage wasn't without its ups and downs, we had managed to build a life full of routines, laughter, and occasional challenges. That night, however, changed something in me. It was the night Michael suggested something that I never, in a million years, expected to hear from him. Michael was a steady man. He worked as an accountant, was methodical in everything he did, and never once struck me as the kind of person who craved surprises. I often joked with him that he was an open book, someone who liked things just the way they were. I, on the other hand, being a high school English teacher, always craved stories, twists, and hidden meanings. I loved novels because they reminded me that life could have plot twists, even if my own seemed steady and calm. That evening started just like any other. I had made pasta for dinner, and Michael had poured us each a glass of red wine. Our teenage daughter, Emily, had already gone upstairs to study for her upcoming exams, leaving us alone at the dining table. As we ate, Michael seemed distracted. He kept tapping his fork against the plate, staring into space, and I knew something was weighing on him. "What's on your mind?" I asked, leaning in with curiosity. He sighed, rubbed his forehead, and finally said, "Claire, I need to tell you something I've been thinking about for a while." The seriousness in his voice made my stomach tighten. My mind immediately jumped to the worst possibilities: health issues, job loss, or something that might shake the foundation of our lives. I placed my fork down, bracing myself. "What is it, Michael?" He hesitated, then finally looked me in the eyes and said, "What would you do if one day you found out that everything we've built together wasn't what it seemed?" I frowned, unsure where this was going. "I don't understand." "What do you mean?" He leaned back, his eyes searching mine. "Claire, I've been struggling. At work, I've noticed things about myself, feelings, thoughts. I haven't acted on them, but they've been there. And it scares me." My heart pounded. "Are you saying you don't love me anymore?" His eyes widened. "No, Claire, that's not it. I love you. I always will. But I've realized that I've been keeping secrets, not from you, but from myself. And tonight, I just couldn't hold it in anymore." I felt my breath catch. The man I thought I knew inside and out was suddenly revealing something unfamiliar, a hidden layer I hadn't seen in 12 years of marriage. My world, which had always felt steady, suddenly tilted. Michael explained that a colleague at work had confessed feelings for him, not in a dramatic or inappropriate way, but enough to make him question himself. He hadn't reciprocated, hadn't even considered it beyond a passing thought, but it shook him. For a man who valued loyalty and honesty above all else, even the possibility of temptation was unbearable. "I felt guilty even thinking about it," he said softly. "And it made me wonder if maybe I've been too rigid all these years. If maybe I've been afraid of change, afraid of life beyond the comfort zone we've built." I sat in silence for a long moment, processing his words. This wasn't infidelity. It wasn't betrayal. It was a confession of fear, vulnerability, and uncertainty. Finally, I reached across the table and held his hand. "Michael, marriage isn't about never having doubts or temptations. It's about how we handle them together. You told me the truth, and that's what matters." His shoulders relaxed, relief flooding his face. That night, instead of falling apart, we talked. For hours, we sat at the table, sharing fears we'd never voiced before. I confessed that sometimes I missed adventure, spontaneity, and the thrill of the unknown. Michael admitted that he sometimes felt trapped in his routines. We didn't solve everything in one night. But we took the first step toward something new, honesty without judgment. In the weeks that followed, we made small changes. Weekend hikes instead of TV marathons. Cooking together instead of ordering in. Even silly things, like trying a pottery class, brought us laughter and reminded us of the bond we shared. Looking back, I realized that Michael's unbelievable suggestion wasn't about betrayal or loss. It was about daring to admit his fears and trusting me enough to share them. And as strange as it sounds, That night became the turning point in our marriage. Not because everything was perfect, but because, for the first time, we allowed ourselves to be imperfect together. Love, I learned, isn't about never being tempted, never being scared, or never questioning. It's about choosing, every single day, to be honest, to listen, and to grow even when the truth feels frightening.